Welcome to the Ascend Growth AI podcast, where we mix smart growth moves with a little AI magic. I'm Teresa. Let's dive in. For today's guest, we have Charlie Deibel, who operates the Central Ohio office for Sculpture Hospitality. He brings deep expertise in beverage inventory and sales optimization. He is also a master franchisee in 3 states, Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky, and has been a franchisee for 31 years. He was the 5th franchisee in the system. So, Charlie, welcome to the podcast today.
Hi there. How you doing?
Thank you. Can you start by sharing your journey with us?
With the franchise or my work career?
Your work career, because you started in corporate, so I think that will be interesting to hear as well.
Okay. Well, and it's always good to know where a person starts, I believe. Graduated from college, had a business degree with a concentration in economics, and I got a job in retail sales, selling appliances and stereos right out of college. So I went from going to college to working within like 3 days. I did that for about a year or so, tried something else, and I just didn't like retail sales, and I thought that I wanted to have more of a professional designation. So I went back to school and I got the rest of my accounting classes, and ended up being an accounting instructor while I was in grad school, getting my accounting classes, taught accounting classes for a couple years. Then I got a job with the state of Ohio, auditing corporations for tax compliance. But I ultimately wanted to work for a CPA firm. I got a job with a CPA firm in Texas, and that led me to a job with Data Point Corporation, which was a Fortune 100 company that made computer hardware back in the day, back in the uh, late 80s or mid 80s. And then I got a job with USAA as a marketing manager, and that turned out to be turned into a vice president of marketing for mutual fund sale. I did that for a few years, got divorced, decided to move home back to Ohio, and I looked for a business to be self-employed in. I didn't want to be a CPA because there was just too much competition. So I looked for something unique and a business opportunity. And I found Sculpture Hospitality. It had just started a few years before. It's out of Toronto, and it's a company that provides inventory and sales management software and systems for bars and restaurants. Went on a discovery day, decided it was a really neat thing. My family had owned a restaurant for about 100 years. And so I had worked in bars before when I was growing up, and it made a lot of sense what they were doing because bars and restaurants weren't tracking their inventory the right way to determine losses. And I knew that from my accounting background, and they had developed a software program to do that. So I bought the franchise, got trained, and just didn't look back. And I went out and prospected and cold called and got clients. I was the 5th franchisee in the system, and I started selling franchises in the system in our business model, and trained the franchisees that I sold it to. Uh, and now, and then when I started, I did all the work myself. It's a service business, so you tend to do the work for the customer at their place of business. So we take inventory for bars and restaurants. So I would go to the bar or the restaurant and count the inventory and process the information and generate an audit report, which would show them how much inventory they're missing and help them work. I would work with the management team to help reduce the losses. This subsequently made the bars more money when they had their inventory and sales losses reduced. So I started to get a bunch of clients, and I got to the point where I grew my business, and it got to the point where I have now like 10 employees, and I don't really do the daily audits or the work out in the field. I just manage the business and bring in clients and train my guys and uh, mentor my franchisees.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing career. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And I know you talked a little bit about what Sculpture Hospitality does, but can you talk about like the business model and the franchisees? Like, do they have their territories, and how
Yeah.
many franchisees are there?
Sure. Our business model is a franchise. It's a service franchise. So when you buy a franchise, you get training and you get a protected territory that's defined by the number of liquor licenses in a particular zip code. And a standard territory is about 275 liquor licenses. And so
Okay.
we know you know who your customers are. So in a way, that makes it easy. You know who to go after. You may not know the owner's name, but at least you know what bar and restaurant is in your territory, and you go after them. You get software and equipment. You get weeks and 2, 3, 4 weeks of training, and then you get mentoring past that. The training's complete. It's both online and on premise in that person's territory. The way we provide our system, we either can do all the counting, where we basically just come in and we weigh all the liquor bottles, we weigh the kegs of beer, we count all the full inventory. We have an app on something like this. So this is a scanner, and we scan the bottles, and there's barcodes on the back. So we put the bottles on the scale. Our company started this standalone inventory app. We now have competition, but for the first 10 or 15 years, we didn't have any competition.
Wow.
Uh, the franchisees start out usually with no clients, and then they have to go out and sell. Like any service franchise, there's two kinds. There's retail, essentially, and which usually involves a store, or you could have a manufacturing kind of a business, or there's a service business. In a service business, usually you don't have an office or a store, but you can. You just end up having more rent, basically, an expense that you often don't need, because in our business, we do all of our work essentially, or interface with the customer at their place of business. So they
Mm,
don't come to our office. So I don't really need an office. So that saves an expense. And with a service business, though, the onus is more on the franchisee to go get the business.
right.
With a retail business, you build it and they come, like the
Right.
field of dreams, right?
Yeah.
But you're kind of limited in a way, ultimately, because most retail businesses, there's kind of an upside. There's a ceiling to how much you get. It's based on the kind of business you have. Like if you have a Dairy Queen or like a hamburger franchise, usually there's a 2 or 3 mile radius or a mile and a half radius that customers go to your particular store to. And once you get established, that's kind of your sales.
Right.
With the service business, it's based on you how much business you want to have. And you can either have 10 customers or you can have 100 customers. And there's a
Mm,
big difference in revenue between 10 customers and 100 customers, regardless of the business, right?
right.
And so, but it's more on you, which means if you can't sell, and selling means two things. It means prospecting to get the presentation, but then it means doing the presentation. And a lot of people can do a presentation, but not everybody can do prospecting.
Mm,
The reason they can't is because they emotionally just can't walk in the door and say hi to somebody and do the cold calling. It's hard for some people to do that emotionally.
mhm.
And I can teach you what to say in the presentation, but I can't generally teach you to feel comfortable with going in and introducing yourself to somebody and start talking to them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if somebody buys a service franchise, I don't care what it is, unless that franchisor can really provide you with a large number of leads, of qualified leads, that somebody just want you to come out and give them a quote, you need to really determine whether or not you're able emotionally to go out and prospect.
When Sculpture Hospitality looks for their new franchisees, is this one of the qualifications that they look for?
Yeah, we tell people, if you're not going to be comfortable going out and cold calling, don't do this business. We have a website. We do direct marketing for our franchisees. We go to conventions, but 75% of my clients came from prospecting,
Mm,
and
right.
only 18% came from referrals.
Wow.
And the 7 or 8 or 9% left came from direct mail and trade shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If somebody gets in our business, if they want to make a decent amount of money, which they can for the business, for the investment, they have to be able to feel comfortable going out and prospecting. And a lot of
Right.
businesses are like that.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of professional service franchises that have to do with accounting or other kinds of services, and like cleaning services and things like that. And how do you get business? You got
Mhm.
to market yourself.
You do. Yes. Agree. And so you said a territory has 275 liquor licenses. If there's new liquor licenses that come into the territory, the franchisee can go
They
for
get
that too.
those too.
They get
Yeah.
those too. Okay.
Yeah, and to give you an idea of what that really means, a city of about 500,000 people would probably have 300 liquor licenses.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
I'm in Columbus, Ohio,
Yeah.
and our city has when I started, it had about 800 liquor licenses,
Wow.
and so there's 2 franchisees in Columbus, Ohio.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
so there's me and another person.
Okay. And then when they sign up, you said you already know the liquor licenses, so I'm assuming they already they know the leads to start with, at
Yes.
least. Okay. Then it sounds like it's really for bars. Like, is that your ideal customer? I mean, what if a restaurant doesn't have a bar? Then that's not
Well,
part
we
of your.
do inventory for food as well.
So it's any restaurant, food and beverage service is
Yeah.
your ideal
I would
customer.
say these days the landscape has changed for us from a competition standpoint over the last 30 years. And then in the last 10 years or so, quite a few of the corporate clients, like, I don't know, just name any Applebee's, for example, most of those larger corporate clients do use inventory management software.
Right.
So they often already have their own system. When I started, they did not.
Mm.
Nobody did. The
Okay.
only restaurant and bar that I knew actively that was using inventory management software program was Donato's in 1987. They wrote their own software program,
Okay.
and nobody else really did. I approached TGI Fridays in 96, 97, and they didn't have it.
Wow.
So we started doing all the TGI Fridays in the country.
Wow.
I've done all the Buffalo Wild Wings, Dave and Buster's. But as inventory management software has become more popular, many of these companies wanted to do it internally.
Mm.
And when we were doing them at the time, we didn't allow the client to use our software internally. Now we do. So, but there's lots of choices now. So for us personally, most of our market comes from independents or
So they,
people that own maybe no more than 20 or 30 locations.
wow. Okay.
Like one of our clients is Tin Roof, and we also do Roosters here in the Midwest.
Okay. Do you find that most of your clients are, like you said, 20 to 30? That's still a pretty big. How
Yeah,
about like those individual owner operators?
most of our clients own 1 to 3 locations.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay. No, that's great. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between the retail business model and franchise?
Sure. It really has to do with the product that you're selling. Most retail businesses have a tangible object that they're selling.
Yes.
It's a computer, it's envelopes, cards, greeting cards. There's Hallmark franchisees. I would say most tires,
Hmm.
anything that is a tangible product, computers, software, it's a product that tends to not need to be sold in a prospecting situation for people to want to buy it. It tends to be something that people know they need. Okay. They self-identify. They go, my tires are bald. I need to go get new tires. Nobody needs to sell somebody a pair of tires. Nobody comes to your house and cold calls on you
Yeah.
to try and sell you tires, right?
Right.
That
Right.
just doesn't happen. You look at your tires, they're almost bald. You know you need them. Now you just have to figure out which tires do you get. And
Yes.
so the retail businesses are all about advertising because the products they carry there's a lot of them, there's a lot of choices, and they want you to come to their store. And retail stores tend to sell products that everybody tends to buy, and
Hmm.
they self qualify. They
Hmm.
know they want it.
Right.
They're just not sure which product. You go to an appliance store, Best Buy, they'll have 7 or 8 different manufacturers. You don't know which one you want, but you know you want an appliance. And the reason why it works out that way is because you know when you need one. You don't need somebody calling on you and saying, hey, do you need a new refrigerator? No, I don't need a new refrigerator.
Hmm.
People will call on you though to sell you roofs because not everybody knows if their roof really needs replaced or not.
Yeah.
right? So if you own a home, you often get hit up to get your roof replaced.
Hmm.
And they'll have some sort of kind of sales program where they say, we're in the neighborhood and we're talking to everybody on your street.
Yeah.
And your roof
Yeah.
looks like it needs replaced.
Hmm.
Now, does it really? I don't know, but okay. But professional service businesses are different in that it's like insurance. It's insurance is a professional service.
Hmm.
Financial services, financial service investing. If you need financial planning, you don't necessarily know you need it. And sometimes you think you might need it and you talk to maybe somebody older than you and or like your parents or a coworker and you start to make some money and you don't know how to invest it. And so financial planners often prospect to get clients because not everybody knows they really need the service. And CPAs and lawyers, when they first start out, they have to prospect to get customers
Hmm.
because
Yep.
nobody knows they exist. All kinds of professional services, people kind of are aware they are that they're out there, but they don't realize who they have to call.
Right.
They don't know who to call. So as a professional service provider, you have to start cold calling people. And that's the big difference. What you do is intangible, and that's the big difference. Retail, it's a hard product. It's a tangible item. You touch it, you feel it, you drink it, whatever.
Yeah.
Professional service, it's not a tangible item. It's information. That's the
Yeah.
big difference.
That is. And I'm assuming then whether you go in one versus another, that's two very different skill sets when it comes to prospecting.
Yeah, yeah. It's you have to have product knowledge, but which is the technical aspect of something, but then you have to have the emotional wherewithal to go out and prospect.
Yeah.
And not
Agree.
everybody has that. Some
Agree.
people don't know they have it and they actually do have it. I would say people that are very confident and social can generally prospect,
Right. Yes.
you know.
How about AI? Are you guys using AI right
We
now?
are starting to use AI on the technical side of our business, how we analyze the reports, how we proof the reports, how we write our audit summary reports, things like that. We're getting our feet wet just like everybody else.
Okay. Good.
And since we write software for a living, our
Mm.
software is already being updated every month. So now it's like getting updated on steroids because, not only are we updating it in the normal way, but now we're trying to insert AI technology and advantages into our software. And how can
Exactly.
we do that? So, yeah. And we write our own software. So our programmer is very busy right now.
Right. I'm sure. Yes.
I can't even talk to him. And we're personal friends. And it's like,
Right.
you know, it's like,
Yeah. He's very busy.
yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah, I had to schedule a meeting with him 3 weeks out to have a half-hour conversation with him on the development of an aspect of our software, which is exactly what he wants to talk to me about, because we're making a modifications so we can do perpetual inventory analysis, which will be
Hmm.
a big deal.
Hmm.
But I had to have a 3-week meeting scheduled out for an hour discussion. Normally, 10
Yeah.
years ago, I could call Ken up and he'd
Yeah.
go,
That's
yeah, I got a few minutes for you.
right. Yeah. Exactly. Wow. That's
Not that way
that's
anymore.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. The development speed at which things are happening, I do really believe that AI is going to make our world differently in the next few years, and it's kind of scary how it might make it different. And I mean scary both in a good way and a bad way.
Hmm.
And I think that some of the things that just happened in Congress, where I think a bill was passed where they're not going to have any checks on AI development for 10 years, is scary to me.
Wow. Jeez. That is scary.
Yeah,
Wow.
that means you can do what you want and nobody's going to put any brakes on you or guardrails.
That can be dangerous.
It
So,
very well could be. Yeah.
yes. What is working well for you in sculpture hospitality right now? What are you proud of?
How well our clients do.
Mm.
My clients average about a 20% shrinkage when I start with them.
Wow.
And that's why we have a business, or fortunately. I miss my their misfortune is my fortune. You know, uh, and I've started over 400 bars on our system in 31 years, and I've never come across a bar that couldn't save at least 3 times the cost of our service. And our
Wow.
average audit fee is about $240.
Okay.
So that means any bar that I've ever done was losing at least about $600 a week.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
That's
And,
crazy.
there's one bar in Columbus I saved $450,000 a year. Yeah,
Jeez.
and I
Oh my
charge
god.
him 50,000 a year to save 450, so that's a
I mean,
9 times return on his investment.
sounds like a good deal.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I don't really overcharge. My wife
Right.
gets mad at me, she's an attorney, and she doesn't think I charge enough. She's an attorney, go figure. You know, it and she's not a litigation attorney, so she bills at a flat rate. So she's
Yeah.
what I call one of the good attorneys. You know,
Yeah.
she does trusts and estates and
I
stuff like
see.
that for people.
No, that's nice.
But I think and now my clients average less than 2% shrinkage. So I
Okay.
really reduced the shrinkage on all of our clients. And on average, I keep clients 8, 10 years. And I still have of the first 5 or 6 clients I started 31 years ago, I still have 3 of them.
Wow. That's a really good testimonial of your service.
Bars and restaurants don't usually last very long.
Right.
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 Yeah.
Wow. On the flip side, what's been frustrating?
Getting new clients.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Yes.
they don't think that they have a problem.
Mm,
The method that which they use to analyze losses isn't working, but they don't realize it. And so it's trying to educate them into understanding what they are doing and aren't doing so they're more likely to give it a go. And we'll do a free audit for somebody to show them how much they're missing.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but sometimes people are just skeptical of doing something different. Change
Right.
is hard for people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we don't sell by selling, we sell by teaching. But you kind of
Yes.
have to sell to get the meeting, but then you teach during the presentation.
Right.
I don't sell during the presentation, I teach.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. You're adding value in that sense and then hopefully it helps them change their perspective.
Well, yeah, we'll try and compare what they're currently doing to what we do in a very objective way and prove to them what they're doing. The difference between teaching and selling is salespeople don't always prove what they say, but teachers always prove what they say. So I try and teach
Yeah.
and
That's great.
provide proof for what we do.
Does a restaurant have to be what if a restaurant's new and they don't have a baseline for their inventory? Do you still work with them or cuz it's really nice to hear the stories where you've completely flipped it around, but how about the new ones?
Well,
Do
if
you
they're
also
brand new, sure, I'll start because that's a great time. That way you don't experience a lot of shrinkage. But most people, when they start a brand new restaurant, unless they are not already with us, because a lot of times we have a client that opens up a third or fourth location and they just start with us from the beginning because they've already learned that they need to have us.
Yes.
So a lot of times when a person is brand new, I'll recommend that they wait a couple weeks, but not for the reason you're talking about, just so they can get things settled. I mean, they need to not micromanage their inventory that much. They just need to understand what's going on with their business.
Agree.
So
Agree.
I tell people wait a couple weeks.
Okay. I'm thinking for when mine opens up, who do I reach out to? But I'll connect with you
What
about
kind of
that.
business are you opening up?
It's called Pure Green. So they do acai bowls, smoothies, and pressed juices.
Okay, well, you should look at an inventory software and if you're going to, you could do it yourself or you could hire a company to come in and, I'd wait a week or two because the only thing you need to take your inventory for in the beginning is to figure out how much to order.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
want any specific advice, I'll be happy to tell you. I didn't realize you were opening up a restaurant and
Yeah.
I'll give you some free advice.
Okay.
I mean, just what to do in the beginning in terms of tracking your inventory and your sales. Hopefully you'll have a POS system and
Yep.
you'll have a menu item for every single item that you sell. You've got to
Yes.
have that. And not only for every item, but every size difference. So you have to have that specified, and you'll want to make sure that they don't say the same thing so you're not confused, because inventory management software needs to look at the product mix names.
Yep.
There's a product mix report that your POS system should utilize, and that's what you'll use to help you track your inventory. And when you track inventory in a restaurant, you're comparing your ideal numbers to your actual numbers. And so you'll have to, quote unquote, plate things up and know what your ideal costs are for like a 20-ounce smoothie or a 14-ounce smoothie, and know what your costs are that go into the creation of each different menu item.
Yep.
You'll have to do all that, and then you'll have an ideal cost percentage range that you're going to want to shoot for, and then you're going to have to figure out how much you're going through stuff. So in the first few weeks, as your business grows, your PARs are going to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because hopefully, of course, your business in the beginning is a lot less than it will be in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
And hopefully it'll grow. And then you'll
Yep.
probably start to see your sales start to level off. And hopefully that'll be at a sufficient amount that you'll be happy with. If it
Mm-hmm.
isn't, then you're going to have to figure out some other marketing.
If you were to start over, what advice would you tell your younger self?
Well, I would just say, gosh, I did okay. I don't know. You mean start over in this business, or start over, should have gone into medicine?
Really?
Yeah,
That would be a
it would have
completely
been better.
different path.
It would
Okay.
have been better for me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It
Well,
just
it sounds like you're very
emotionally it would have been
successful
better
now,
for
though.
me. Yeah,
Okay.
I would have liked to have been in sports med. I would have liked to have been an orthopedic surgeon and
Wow.
probably worked on athletes or
Okay.
do some sort of sports med. For a while there, I owned a gym, and I was helping people work out, and I really enjoyed that.
Wow. Okay.
And I was very enjoyable. But I had some issues happen in college. My grandmother got really sick, and I had to take care of her. And I dropped out of school without actually dropping out of school, and I got 7 Fs on my grade GPA,
No.
and that affected my grade point average, which affected me to get into medical school.
Got it. Okay.
So,
Okay.
but if telling my younger self what I'm doing now, I would have worked a little bit better on my sales presentation in the beginning. But I was the 5th franchisee, so we were just learning. So
Right.
I don't know what else I would have done. I mean, we were a startup when I started.
Yeah. Yeah,
We
exactly.
really were. Let's put it
Right.
this way. I, as a franchisee, wrote our first training manual.
Wow.
We didn't even have a training manual. The
Okay.
president trained me in person in 2 days, and that 2-day training morphed into 2 weeks.
Wow. Yeah.
So maybe my younger self would tell myself, don't get into that business, because they didn't have everything. They didn't know what they were doing at the time. But
Yeah.
we quickly figured it out over the next couple of years. And so, you know, I'm I really feel like I hit the lottery, a real life lottery. You know,
Yeah.
if you would have told me that you're going to do this and weigh liquor bottles for a living, and you're going to invest, X amount of thousands of dollars and now make 6 figures a year. And there are weeks, Teresa, I only work 15 hours a week, and I'm making north of a lot. I do okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I mean, if you went into sports medicine, your life would have been completely different. But I mean, it sounds like you've been very successful. So,
Yeah. 4 kids through college. They're all adults. I've got 4 grandchildren. Everybody is paying their own bills. Anybody that's been a parent knows that's big right there.
it is.
You
Yeah.
know, nobody's living in the basement right now. So, and
Well,
they're all in their mid-20s to
Yeah.
mid-30s. So, that's still the age when a lot of some kids are still staying at home.
Right.
So
Right.
I think they're all hardworking. I think it helped them seeing their dad work at home, because they understood the work ethic that it takes to be successful. And you
Right.
do have to have a good work ethic.
Yeah. Well,
That's
congratulations.
important.
It is. No, I'm sure you can look back and be very proud. And if people wanted to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Well, they can go to our company website and find me, That's at sculpturehospitality.com, or they can email me at Deibel@sculpturehospitality.com. So that's DEIBEL at sculpturehospitality.com, or they can call me up on my cell phone, and that's 614-306-5654.
Okay. Well, that's great. Charlie, thank you so much for being on today. It was amazing to hear your journey and
Yeah,
learn about
thanks.
all your success and just hear all your advice. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. It was nice talking with you.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you got value, share it, tag us, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Catch you next time on the Ascend Growth AI podcast.